Today we talk about the deeper reason why people cannot keep up a healthy habit and finish their New Year resolutions. Before we dive into the deeper reasons, we gotta clear one of the misconceptions and why this video are different than other video you watch about forming habits. Lots of people believe that willpower is the main player in forming habits. The reason why some people can wake up at 4, go to gym every day, eat healthy because they have a strong willpower despite it's such painful experience. However, willpower can only influence the thing that we know and see. If we yet realize a direction or a factor that influences us, regardless how strong our willpower are, we cannot change those essential aspects. Just like imagine if you're driving a car in the cities, half of the car in the cities are invisible and you keep getting random crashes to the air. Regardless how much cold plunge you do to yourself to reset your dopamine level, how much you be careful on the road, you cannot avoid the crashes because those are the hidden factors. And the visible one is like what everyone talking about. Your sleep schedule, atomic habits, and eat the bigger frogs, whatever. But I think those are not why most people cannot form a good habit. The real reason are much deeper than we realize. In my opinion, the reason why we gave up our good habits is a solution for us. That we trade terrible sleep, terrible diets, and brain fog, or you just general chaotic brain for something more important for us. And that factor is autonomy. Of course, when you hear the word, you probably feel very confused. What does autonomy has to do with healthy habits? Why giving up make me feel I have a more autonomy? To understand this, please follow my thought process. In the end, I guarantee you will look forming a healthy habit in a different light. First, is a healthy habit really that horrible? For example, lots of people go on a bench of social media, they scroll a lot of short videos. The reason why we do that is because it satisfies one of our human nature need, which is gossip, receiving information of what happened to celebrities. That make us become a more and more safe through the evolutions. But if you thought about it, reading book also gather important information for us to survive, if not even more effective than short videos. Or if you have a teenager at home, you can find them watching countless educational videos on gaming. They want to become a better on playing game. They watching other people play. They watch technique. They watch strategies. But if you can just translate them to math or translate them to writing skills, they suddenly lose their powers. Despite those is more important for our survival to satisfy the primary need of us. Or another big habits group that people try to form is eating better or exercise. Everyone who runs long distance will know the term called runner's high. Basically, a reward mechanism that happens in us when we run long enough time. Or even just weightlifting. Sometimes when people get off hard drug, when they go to rehab, the doctor will normally suggest in order for them to transition smoothly, they need to lift heavy weights because it gave the same reward system, the same feelings or similar feelings. So if we are being designed as a nature to enjoy learning, to eat healthier, to run faster, to lift heavier weights, why can we not sustain it? Why we cannot enjoy it? I will use one clear social issues. You can clearly see why. Most of us, I imagine, we enjoy eating food, especially high sugar, high fat, or carbohydrate combined with the fat. That's the best. But there's a group of people because the influence of the society, they have eating disorder, despite eating food bring us joy. So if you translate to learning or exercising, we literally have a healthy habits disorder, that the thing that's supposed to make us feel better, that we decide boycott it. So why do we boycott as something that make us feel good? And quite frank, our brain want to do it. We want to form those habits. The reason why is most people decide to do it out of forced. Other people forced you to do it. You may say, yeah, I decide to exercise. No one forced me to do it. I decide to eat healthier. No one forced me to do it. But I will demonstrate an example that I observe in my life to show why sometimes even you make the decision, you still feel forced. For example, I have a sister. She is very young. She likes to jump on the bed like all other toddler does. But my dad is quite worried about her because sometimes he break the bed, sometimes she fall and break her bones, or for God's sake, what happened to her. My dad have two choices. One is to yell at her, use violence, so use the power and the force at the moment. Or my dad have the second option, which is what we call the civil approach. My dad will tell her that, hey, you may break the bed, you may break yourself, that's not okay, and please don't do it. If I caught you doing it, I may punish you, take your iPad away, take your TV time away. And by the way, I put a camera here. It will observe you all the time. So if I caught you, you get punished. So day after day, my sister will always thinking that there's a camera, I cannot do it. Because she will never know is my dad looking through the camera or no. And because she make the decision, she watch herself, but she is not actually voluntarily doing that behavior. It's not because she understands the harm of the behavior. It's just because she is afraid. And she control herself not to do it. And the lots of us are doing the same thing, just like what my sister did. You have a self-monetizations. You feel if you don't do those things, something bad will happen. You ask a college student, why you go to college? They say, I want to find a job. Why you find a job? Because I don't want to sleep on the street. Or I don't want to, when I'm old, no one help me. I don't have money and I will live miserably. They're afraid of those things. That's why they go to college. Lots of people decide to read. You ask them, why you decide to read? They will tell you answer something like, oh, because I don't want to seem like a shallow person when I'm in the social circle. And all my friends are quite smart, so I'd be forced to read. Or whatever I watch online, the celebrities, they read, and I want to have as good quality life like they do, so I copy what she does. Otherwise, I believe I have a miserable life. Or lots of people want to go around eating healthy just because they think they're in a very tough spot. In order to escape this horrible life is go have a healthy habits. We treat the healthy habits, learning, reading, whatever, as a price to pay. If there's a button right now to ask you, if you press the button, you can escape all the process and reach the goal. Most people will press it, and most people will feel when you have a New Year resolution every year. And there's a story that even around me, I have this cousin who love Harry Potter or other like fictions, or space and aliens. He can read upon hours and hours with no problem. Until he hit third grade with some reading homework. The teacher literally tells them, oh, you need to read 30 minutes a day. Even then, he really enjoyed his reading experience. But this time, he only will read 29 minutes, 59 seconds. Then he will shut the book on dot and then finish his reading journey. just because he feel force from outside. Or to the extreme, sex. Everybody enjoys sex, but when sex becomes forced, it's inhumane, it's illegal, and we have to condemn it. But imagine this teacher or this outside force is yourself because you're afraid. So you have to regulate yourself all the time. And that's what I mean by we giving up is a solution. Is when we give up those healthy habits, when we do something we think is meaningless, we do something we think is harmful, we suddenly have this rebellion experience. We make a decision for ourselves. Screw the force, screw whatever I've feared. I just want to enjoy my life. Despite I don't feel freedom doing that, but the fact that I'm doing the polar opposite of what forced upon me make me feel like I have a freedom, I have autonomy, I'm owning my life. Even then, there's negative results, but me can facing the negative result based on my choices is more important than me living long and healthy with clarity. That means nothing to me because that is not me. That is not my life. That was something forced upon me. The scary part is, in the same time, because a lot of people giving up, people will beat themselves up for it. Oh, look at me once again, didn't finish my New Year resolution. Or lots of people even give themselves a definition, a tag that I am a person with weak willpower. I'm the person who will never succeed. And this dual force that contradict each other will literally start a brand new vicious circle in our life, making forming a healthy habit impossible. On the one side, we treat our body as a machine or an item we own. When it don't work as we wishes, we beat them over it. And on another side, when this body that is so separate from our brain doing something harm, we feel satisfied because that is what autonomy is supposed to mean. What is mean to live a life that for myself. So I go on rant so much about what it's not supposed to be. So if you want to have a good habit, what is supposed to be? What does people who stick to the habits actually done right? And we will start our next chapter called experience. All the people who actually stick to certain habits, to certain lifestyle, is because they experience it as it is. For example, I really enjoy reading, and this channel is mainly about me share what I read or what I get inspired. In the beginning, I want to read book because I was a 14 years old boy who want to get girls' attentions. So undoubtedly, I go to one of my teacher and tell them, hey, I want to learn psychology. Is there any book you can recommend? When I'm reading the psychology book, I find myself have more fun reading the psychology experiments than getting girls' attentions. Reading this process itself is enough for me to feel satisfied. At that moment, the end goal is no matters. Or for lots of kids who like to play game, their goal is not I have to get number one in the whole game. Their fun time is a process of playing. And please, don't get me wrong that a lot of habits, a lot of healthy lifestyle is painful. It not because you turn your experience channel open, they suddenly become wonderful. They still sometimes could be boring. There still could be frustrations. But what has changed is your definition towards those uncomfortableness. For lots of people who like to travel and do 3-day camping into middle of nowhere that you can only use satellite phone to communicate with your parents that you're still alive, it's 100% more uncomfortable than at your house. But because a touch with nature, this uncomfortableness make them feel more comfortable. Or even lots of scientists get doomed over some problem that they cannot figure out. It's such a difficult journey. But when the great solution was end, they find solution to the problem they've been thinking about life, they have a nothing but upset because that solution killed the fun of explorations. Or if you've been to gym, lifting muscle, the day after is very painful. Most of us will think this is a suffrage. But for people who really wish to gain muscle, that pain is equal to happiness. I'm growing stronger. Loop it back to the topic of autonomy. If we only follow human nature to set what as comfortable, at that moment, you are decided by the destiny. You don't have autonomy per se. Just like the recent book I read called Live. The author said, if you want to pick up your grandchild when you was 80, you need to train a lot when you're at 60s. Because after 60s, every 10 years, your muscle drop. You're losing muscles, you're losing balance. But for me, what's the most biggest takeaway is if the destiny make you mean to not pick up your grandchild, but you use your, as an individual, awareness and willingness to change the destiny bound to be, that's when autonomy that happened to our life. And this is all for today's video. I really hope you learned something today. I see you next time. Bye.